Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now July 3rd of 2020, and ever since the very end of the Skywalker saga, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly how both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are really going to take advantage of really growing the Star Wars franchise at this point in time right now. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about the sequel trilogy, we've seen a prime example of this with a lot of the films out there, like The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, is that it really had a lot of flaws, especially within The Last Jedi, without a doubt. That was the very film that really derailed the franchise, and how Rian Johnson was responsible for all of that, since he was really given a lot of creative control when it came to that movie, and Kathleen Kennedy allowed him to do so, and even authorized many of his ideas. Now, the thing about this, when we look at everything related to The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, those two movies have different controversies embedded within them. You know, if you look at The Last Jedi, it's all about Luke. If you look at The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of it has to do with Emperor Palpatine and the structure of all of that. You know, why did they necessarily have to bring him back? Well, it was essentially a save. You know, what they wanted to do was they actually needed a new villain in Episode 9, and they didn't want to use Colin Trevorrow's Tor Valum villain. So they went over to nostalgia to bring back Palpatine. Now, with that being said, of course, what's really intriguing all has to do with actress Daisy Ridley and director Rian Johnson. Now, with both Disney and Lucasfilm now focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, they are also focused on their new Star Wars universe in general in order to create a better and brighter future for the Star Wars franchise moving forward. Now, it's explained that behind the scenes, many changes are being made to the Star Wars franchise, where it's described that during and after the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker, many interviews were given to the actors and actresses of the sequel trilogy movies, where at one point in time, actress Daisy Ridley was questioned about director Rian Johnson and The Last Jedi Backlash and other story elements, to where Daisy Ridley went on to explain that Rian Johnson did not want to use the Star Wars Legends version of Luke Skywalker, since he did not want to make Luke into a superhero by giving him immense force powers in the movie, and that Johnson felt it would take the limelight away from Rey. Now let me stop right there for a second, because to me, I feel like that's a very poor excuse to not use the Star Wars Legends version of Luke Skywalker. And the reason behind all of that by Rian Johnson is because he didn't want to turn Luke into a superhero. I think it's just a very poor way of saying that he just didn't want to do something amazing with Luke. You know, if you look at Luke in Star Wars Legends, he did incredible things with the Force. It doesn't necessarily just make him a superhero like in Marvel's The Avengers. The thing about Luke is that it's a very interesting type of personality in the Star Wars Legends version. He's more level-headed, he's optimistic, he's very confident, and all of those different types of, personalities within Luke. You actually get to see that in Legends. We didn't really get to see it all that much in The Last Jedi, which is what a lot of fans were hoping to see, right? Now, moving on beyond this, Daisy Ridley went on to reveal that Rian Johnson also purposely wanted to make Luke a weak character in the film, to show the fans that even the best of heroes can lose their way and become broken down, to teach a lesson to kids that you can still rise when you fall. However, Daisy additionally revealed that Rian Johnson also wanted to create a controversial film on purpose in order to make the film full of emotion, not just for the characters, but for the audience as well. Let me just say one thing right here, is that by really making a movie controversial on purpose, that is probably the worst thing that you could really do, and I could only imagine what was going through Rian's head. You know, there was an older interview that also supports this, where Rian Johnson actually likes a movie where people come out saying that they loved it, and people coming out saying that they hated it. And that's exactly what Rian wanted, and that's exactly what he did. There's a lot of Last Jedi supporters out there. There's a lot of Last Jedi, haters out there, after all. And, properly so. I mean, a lot of fans are very much against this movie because of proper reasons. But if you guys disagree with me on that, that's perfectly fine, We're all people at the end of the day. We have our opinions, and that's all it really is when it comes down to it. So, the last thing I just want to really point out here is the fact that, Rian Johnson, he's already starting his own Knives Out universe. He's kind of separating himself from Star Wars ever since Bob Chapek, split his trilogy into 3 separate Star Wars films. And now Daisy Ridley, of course, who knows what's going to happen with her as an actress. We do know that she's going to be involved as a voice actor for the upcoming Rise of Skywalker sequel series in animated form, and that's about it. But besides that, it really makes you wonder, where is Star Wars really going? Well, it seems like it's heading in a better direction now that Kathleen Kennedy is no longer on the creative scale. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.